"You're gonna hit a home run tonight," he told the baseball player. The player laughed because he wasn't even on the roster. But guess what? He ended up playing and he hit that home run. Hi, I'm Beth Ann Campbell, and this is Something Weird Happened Here. Welcome to Something Weird Happened Here, the podcast for people who love a twisted tale but aren't afraid to poke at it a bit. We share stories that are postmarked peculiar and then explore the story with curiosity and an open mind. Stay tuned after the show to find out how to submit your strange saga, and maybe we or you will share it on air. Now let's get started, because no matter where you are in this mysterious world, something weird happened here. This tale is postmarked California, USA. Subject line, "My gift got me into the Baseball Hall of Fame." Today we're going to be talking about how my guest Ray Engan got into the Baseball Hall of Fame by using his gift, and we're not even sure what that gift is yet. Ray Engan.
Hey there.
I asked you a question not long ago. We were together on a different call and different event, and you mentioned that you were in the Baseball Hall of Fame because of a gift. I'll call it a sort of psychic-ish gift, but maybe we'll explore that a little bit. Can you tell us a little bit about how did you get in the Baseball Hall of Fame for psychic ability?
Yeah, it wasn't for my plan, I'll tell you that. But my mom calls this the gift, and she said that it runs strong in me and the family. And even if you go way back as why I live in California, but my family grew up in Minnesota. My dad one day, the day before they were supposed to buy a house in Minnesota, my mom saw my dad walking out the door, and she said, "Where are you going?" And he said, I got to go get a map of California. And she was like,
Okay.
why? I don't know. And so he went and he got a map of California, and he opened it up and he was looking at it and he was looking for something. And he saw a town in Northern California that he liked the name of because it meant sharks in Spanish. It was called Tiburon. And he said, I've got to go out there before we buy the house. Okay. So he went out there, and it's this little tiny town. And it's in the San Francisco Bay Area. It's right on the water. And he fell in love with this town, and there was a house for sale there, little tiny house, and he bought it. So that's kind of how I came out to where I am. Now, along the way, the journey along the way, well, my dad, when I was a little kid, my dad used to work for the San Francisco Giants Booster Club. And that meant that sometimes we got to travel with the team. And as a 8, 9 year old kid, that's like the greatest thing in the world, right?
Yeah.
And my mom would take me on those trips, and she would introduce me to players. And so one time we were in San Diego, and my mom introduces me to this guy. This is Bob Berta. He's an outfielder with the Giants. And I looked up at him and I just said, "Oh my God, you're gonna hit a home run." And he kind of laughed because he said, "Well, I'm not really playing tonight. How about Willie Mays?" Because Willie Mays was on the team at the time. He said, "No, no, no, it's you. It's you." And we went to the game that night, and he wasn't playing. But in the eighth or ninth inning, he came up and he pinch hit. And guess what? Boom, home run.
Wow.
And I didn't think anything of it because I just saw it. I go, "That's what's going to happen." And uh, the next day, this was back when hotels actually had keys. And I discovered at 8 years old that if you take your hotel key to the restaurant at the hotel and you show it to them, your meal is free.
There you
And
go.
it's
Yeah,
fabulous.
sure.
It's free.
Free in quotes. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't paying for it.
Yeah.
I didn't have to
Yeah.
shovel out any money. So, kids get up early, they do whatever they want. This is way before helicopter parenting. And I go into the hotel restaurant, I'm waving my key around so they know that I'm qualified to eat for free. And I go up to the counter, and I hear this voice behind me. He goes, "Hey, little fella," and I'm wearing like orange and black. I'm decked out in Giants colors, and
Yeah.
uh, I turn around and I look up, and it's Willie Mays,
Oh,
and I'm like, "Oh my
wow.
God!" And I don't know why, but I just looked at him and I said, I didn't say this all the time, by the way. It's not the only thing I said to people, but I looked at him and I said, "Oh my God, you're going to hit a home run tonight." And he laughed. And he said, no, no, no. The guy who hit the home run last night, he's going to play for me tonight. I'm not even playing. Do you mind if I have breakfast with you? So I sat down and
Ooh,
I had breakfast with Willie Mays.
wow.
And that night we go to the game, and I'm excited for Willie Mays' home run, and he's not playing. And I was sitting in the seat I had next to my mom, and I handed her my Cracker Jack. They actually had Cracker Jack back then. And I said, "Hey, Mom, I'm going to go catch Willie Mays' home run ball." And she looked down at me and said, "Okay, this was again." Little kid
Yeah,
wandering off with a big crowd of people,
sure.
no problem back then.
Yeah.
And I went all the way back out to the bleachers where I knew that ball was going to go. And to get to the bleachers, the bleachers used to be kind of like the steerage section of the Titanic. They didn't let the classes mix.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
right.
there was this really old guy standing at the gate
Mm,
between he's probably like 27 or so.
right.
And he goes, "Hey, hey, hey, young man, where are you going?" And he goes, "I'm going to go catch Willie Mays' home run ball." And he says, "No, no, no, you can't go back there. You got to stay over here. You got tickets for over here." I said, "No, no, no. I'm going to go catch Willie Mays' home run ball." And we're arguing over this thing. He won't let me through, but I'm convinced. Convinced, committed.
You
And
know.
I know, yeah, I know this is happening. And I, one time I said, "No, I got to get it. I got to get it." When I was talking to this guy and I said, "I'm going to go catch Willie Mays' home run ball," the announcer goes pinch hitting for George Foster, number 24, Willie Mays. And the guy looks at me like, "What are you? This is weird, kid." But he won't let me through. He will not let me through. And I go back to my seat and I'm all upset. And Willie Mays goes up and he hits the home run right where I knew it was going to go. And uh, here's the Hall of Fame part because this video played in the Hall of Fame for years and years and years. If you watch the video of him hitting his home run, he hits it and they show him running around the bases. Then they cut to a crowd scene and they show this woman in cat eye glasses throwing Cracker Jack in the air. My Cracker Jack, it was my mom.
Oh no.
My brother's clapping left-handed. My sister's jumping up and down. And you see half of this little toe-headed kid sitting there like this because
Pissed
I knew
off.
that was going, that ball was going to be my ball. Now, why it's in the Hall of Fame? That was his 600th home run. And it wasn't like
Oh,
it is today where they went bonkers over those kind of things and you could sell them for millions
yeah.
of dollars. But that was my Willie Mays home run. I'm in the Hall of Fame story.
Fascinating. So let me ask you this. So you're 11 years old, you're a kid or whatever you were, 8, whatever.
Hey,
And
yeah.
yeah, 8. Okay. So you're going up to these guys and you're just what do you remember when you were that age or when that happened? What is going in your head? Like, are you seeing them hitting, or is it just like a knowledge that is there that you just know? I mean, what do you remember about that?
It's kind of a gut feeling, and it's not like it's a vision or anything, but it's
Yeah, okay.
it's just this gut feeling and what you think is right. And one of the things my dad said is that little voice in your head is always right when you're sober. So it's it's this thing you see, and it's something where you just know. Um, I had another situation. I'd never really been to Lake Tahoe, and after college, I was going to meet some friends there, and I took a guy from work, and I said, "Hey, let's go to Tahoe. My friends are going to meeting up there," and we're driving up. It's like a 4-hour drive,
Yeah.
and if the weather's good, and he goes, "So where in Tahoe are you going to meet these guys?" I just said, "At a casino." "Which one?" "I don't know. We'll just drive around. We'll hit some casinos. We'll find it." And he
Hmm.
was like, "Tahoe's really big. There's a North Shore and a South Shore." And I said, "Well, he likes to gamble. Which one has more gambling?" He goes, "They both do." And we're driving up there. He's looking at me like I'm insane. I'm like, "Nah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it." And we pulled into, I guess it was Caesars at the time. Now it's something else. But we get out and he's going, "This is insane. Do you know how many casinos there are? Look." I go, "Yeah, he likes this one." And how do you know? I go, "I don't know. I just feel it." And we're going to meet my roommate, and he goes, well, what are we looking for? And I said, oh, a short, stocky Asian guy, he's got some muscles on him, but he's not very tall. And he goes, kind of like that guy over here. I go, yeah, that's him. First guy he pointed at. I didn't see him, he did. But I just knew that we'd go up there and we'd
Yeah.
find him.
So this is just like you said, it's like a gut feel. This is not like you're seeing, Caesar's. You're just
No,
like I'm it's almost instinctive in your
this
mind.
is the right place to do, right place to go, right place to be. And it just serves me well
So
in different
I know that
situations.
these are not the only stories that you have. So tell me where else and when else this gift has shown up.
One of the times I was at because I do like to gamble and I like to play craps in casinos, and I was in Las Vegas and with this other guy, and we show up at this table, and I like to talk to people if you couldn't tell, and I start talking and I start naming people, and we're having a good time. We're playing craps, and this guy, it was almost like the prototype of Debbie Downer comes up and standing next to
Wah,
me.
wah.
Exactly. And he said, I never win at craps, and I'm like going,
That's
dude,
exactly how Debbie Downer would say it.
yeah, yeah. And I said, yeah, I can't do this. And I said, you are about to have the greatest role of your life. He goes, no, no, I never win at craps, and I said, I announced to the table, I go, ladies and gentlemen, I know the role is over here because it goes from person to person, person around. But when this gentleman grabs the dice, you are in for the wildest ride you've ever seen playing craps of
You're
all time.
telling this to the table. You're like
Yeah,
announcing this. That's how confident you are.
at least half an hour before he gets there. Because what
Wow.
I knew is if he took the dice in that current frame of mind, he would just destroy the whole table. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna bring this around somehow. I don't know what it is, and I hear it called all kinds of things, and I don't know what it really is or why it works. I just know it does. And when you sit there and you kind of like, okay, here's what we're doing, here's what we're doing. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And I got everybody believing this guy was doing it. He's, oh, I should just pass it over to you. I go, no, this is your time to shine. He went on the longest run I've ever seen at a craps table.
Wow.
And people made thousands and thousands of dollars last night on this one guy's run, and they're high-fiving him. And, all of a sudden he's becoming more attractive, and all this kind of
Yeah.
thing. And
Well, that's like a double gift, Ray, because that's almost like for whatever it is, but now you're also projecting whatever this energy is onto somebody else and
yeah,
now everybody else is getting into it and they're building up that energy.
well, it's almost like confidence is the most powerful tool in the universe.
Yeah.
And if and I forget who said this, but if you think if you can, you can. If you can't, you can't,
Yeah.
right?
Henry
And
Ford. If you think you can or
yeah,
you think you can't, either way, you're right.
we used to do things in where I worked. The feeling was December is slow, and December's slow. It's when everybody goes home and they take
Yeah.
time off and spend with their families. And I just said, so today we're going to believe that December is the best month of the year because somebody's working. And we turned it into we 3x what we did in our best month in December just because I flipped it around in their heads. Um, it's a mental game, and I don't know what it is, but those that believe achieve more. Now,
Yeah.
are there limits? Can I dunk? No. Well, I get a
Well,
trampoline. I can.
but that's the question though, right? Because when I hear your stories, I'm very conflicted of is this luck? Is this psychic ability? Is this manifestation? Or is it a little bit of all three or two?
Yeah.
What do you think it is?
I think it's a little bit of all three. If you ask people that knew me for a while, what do you remember about him? Well, he gets more stuff for free than anybody I've ever seen. And there's a reason, because I'll ask. And is that manifestation? No. It's how you ask. And so you kind of learn how to maneuver your way through life where people
Yeah.
will do things for you. It is something weird happening here. I don't know what
Yeah.
it is.
Well, there's that
Uh,
confidence aspect to it too. And I would honestly, I was talking with another guest on this show that Wandana Puranik.
Oh yeah.
and we were just talking about this exact same thing, like the whole, confidence and reception to it, but also I was telling her about you. I said, we were just on a call for something else, and I just asked people, does anybody here had any ability? And so sometimes just being the person who's raising their hand can get you very far. Although I think your experiences go well beyond just. I think there's a confidence aspect of it because you have the confidence perhaps to believe in yourself and others,
Yeah.
but it's not just confidence.
You have to be willing to try to believe
Yeah.
in whatever it is, whatever gift you
Yeah.
have,
Yeah.
whether it's real or not. What it does is it frees up your ability to try.
Yeah.
And if you're not afraid of that, good things happen to people that are prepared for them to happen to. And I think it's a combination of a bunch of things.
It does sound like it. Well, so tell me the story again, about The Price is Right, because I think this is a really good illustration of
Oh,
my confusion in trying to determine where does this even fall, because it's such a great example of this could have been, luck, manifestation, or
yeah.
psychic ability, confidence, all of it.
So the company I work for, we did a week for the goal hitters and the people. We went to Las Vegas, right?
Yeah.
And we had this one woman that really loved to compete. And so I used to run like games and meetings because she would go nuts. So we thought, wouldn't it be great if we could get her on some kind of game show? And we were looking at Las Vegas, and Price is Right is playing in Las Vegas. And it's the game show version. So it's not exactly the same thing as the
Yeah.
TV version. And we bought tickets, and this is months in advance. We're talking about this thing. Oh, it'd be great if she'd go up there and have a good time. And I'm talking to my one of my friends at the place, and I was just sitting there, and I just went like, "Oh my God, she's not going up. Laura's not going up to win on The Price is Right." He goes, "What?" He goes, how do you know that?" I go, "Because it's going to be me." And he laughed. He goes, "Sure, okay, yeah." I said, "No, no, no, I'm going to win, and I'm going to go down, and I'm going to high five, Vince." And I named off three people in the company. It's going to be just in that order, and we go down there. It was a great show. Joey Fatone of whatever boy
Yeah.
band was, and so he's hosting this thing, and they're pulling people up, and they're going through the show, and it gets to the final showcase. And it was different than the show in Los Angeles because they didn't have the winners spin the wheel and do that. They
Yeah.
just brought up new people every time. And my buddy is riding me and saying, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, sure, you're going to be called up. Yeah, sure." And he goes, "Well, just wait, we still got two left." And they pulled up the first woman, and then they said, "And our last contestant, Ray Engan." And I went out, stood up, and I looked down, and I like high-fived the guys in the exact order.
Same honor.
We didn't sit there ahead of time by amazement, and high-fived him and went up on the stage, and my friend's just sitting there like big-eyed. What the heck? How did he know that? Now, unfortunately, I didn't think it through to sitting in the new car with the hot blondes waving at the audience, at the end like they always have. And so I got into the showcase. We both overbid. They would have redone it on the TV show. On the stage show, it's like, no, you just get a free copy of the Price is Right home version. And so, yeah,
Mm.
that's what I got out of the whole thing, except for a great story to tell because
Yeah.
that was that was creepy almost because I saw that months in advance.
Well, and that's why I say it's hearing that story, I think was the one that made me go, well, wait a minute. Is this luck? Is it manifestation? Is it psychic ability? There's
Yeah,
definitely the confidence aspect of it, but it's really hard to say. I say, in this case, did you manifest it? I don't know, but you didn't manifest it far enough. Maybe you should have
yeah.
thought a little bit more about it.
I mean, I clearly saw going up there, but I did not
Yeah.
see the end of the show.
Yeah.
I think these things kind of visit you as you go along. It's kind of like your ideas come to you, and if you listen to them and write them down or take them or do whatever you're supposed to do, they're great and they work for you. If you don't, they go somewhere else
Yeah.
because someone else will think of it. And you've got to be able to hear it and be open to acting on what you're experiencing
Yeah.
at the moment.
You're a
And
great case for verbalizing what your thoughts are because maybe they'll come true. The good ones anyway, because
Well, I'm
um,
such a squirrelish person in the fact that my mind, hey, look over there. I'm the guy in the movie that goes squirrel and off I go. And I will get 5,000 ideas in a day that if I don't write one or two of them down, I'll never have them again.
well, and if you do, because I'm kind of the same way, but if I do write them down, which I do all the time, now I have literal hundreds of notes of stuff that I never, I mean, I guess the important thing is if you write it down and it's good enough, you should probably act on it. Maybe I should just start saying it out loud versus writing it down. Because now I have a lot of lists of like great ideas and I'll come across them like 5 years later and go, oh, why didn't I do that? Well, Ray, thank you so much for sharing these stories and being a part of the something weird happened here genre. I love this because this is one of those ones where you can pick away at it and you'll never really, each one of your stories sounded, some were more sounded like manifestation, some sounded more like psychic, some sounded like, a little bit more on the confident side, but it's just intriguing. Do you still have,
When,
instances now?
when I go to Las Vegas, I can tell you within $100 of what I'll win and lose when I walk down
You
there,
have
when
a
I
lot
fly
of
down
stuff
there.
around gambling. Is there a vortex in the gambling areas that's you're tapping into?
I don't. It's probably a problem. I should call a number. But it's weird because I'll go down there, and if I'm losing, but I know that I'm going to win, I keep playing. But if I said, okay, I'm going to lose this much, and I get to that much, I stop.
Yeah.
Is that common sense? Is
Yes,
it?
that's a lot of
I don't
common
know.
sense, I think, but
But how much of common sense is seeing what's real,
yeah, yeah,
and a lot of times we limit what's real. So so it's like when I know I'm gonna get to this level and I'm down here. Well, okay, let's just keep going. Where the other one, as I quit, is that I don't know what that is.
yeah.
Is it those type of things you see? I recently lost my cat,
I'm sorry.
and I had an Amazon delivery, and I didn't even know it went out, and it
Oh,
went
you mean
away.
it ran away? I thought you meant it like passed away.
No, 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 no. Yeah, this is really lost. Yeah, and I couldn't find it, and 3 or 4 days later, I figured, okay, it's probably not coming. I walked around the neighborhood, and then I talked to a friend, and she said, she was a vet tech, and she said, they're nocturnal creatures, so you should probably search for it at night.
Yeah, yeah,
And like, well, we were out at karaoke, and I said, it's nighttime. And so I went home, and I said, oh, I know. And I went in the kitchen, and I grabbed the box of food that I'll shake in the morning, and they all come running. And I went outside, and I go, Lola, and she bolted out from I don't know where this is. She spent 5 days on vacation. Did I, she told me that, and then I kind of saw, oh, I know what I'll do. Boom.
yeah, yeah,
Is that just blind luck? Probably. A scientist, oh, yes, it is. We can't prove it otherwise. I don't know, and I don't care. It just
yeah,
believe in what you're thinking because
exactly.
it works.
Yeah, I'm sure that the hardcore skeptics out there, and that I hear some of the stories, and I think, yeah, that could be easily coincidence. But
Easily.
then others, then I go like the baseball one. That's like, or even the one where the Price is Right one, where because you talked about like that you even kind of saw this happening. So it's like,
I saw the order.
well, it's
And
fascinating either way. So
yeah, it's fun and it doesn't hurt to believe in what you do,
yeah,
whether it's scientifically based or and I'm not really I mean I live near Berkeley, which is the crunchiest touchy-feely place on the planet.
right.
So I grew up kind of skeptical. But in the area where everybody had it. But I'm, if it works, it works. If it
Yeah,
doesn't, it doesn't. I'm still not 100% sold on oh yeah, if you can just do, you can manifest anything.
yeah,
Okay, well, where's my cheeseburger? You know,
yeah.
I want it brought to me now. Oh,
Well,
there's
that's
Uber
why I
Eats.
say it feels like there's a little bit of the psychic part of it coming into it, and then maybe the manifestation come. I don't know. It's again, I just think it's fascinating. Whenever you talk about one of your stories, whenever I've heard you, And today I always think of there was a an episode, maybe a couple of episodes of, I don't know if you ever watched the show Supernatural, but it's a very popular show, was on for like 15 years. A lot of people have seen it and all about, multiple different supernatural things. But one of them was, or at least one or two episodes involved luck. And that's where
Yeah.
it always makes me think of those episodes where somebody either had bad luck or had good luck. Because I feel like there is a little bit of that luck, but luck in like a, not just like general luck, but like a Loki luck, or or a leprechaun luck, like where it's not, there is a little element of something that's not explainable by our normal sensory
Yeah.
input. So,
Now, because there it is possible to uh, kind of create that feeling of it. We had three friends. There was a local farmers market, and I have a friend from India, and he had these Indian wedding robes, which are just gorgeous things.
yeah.
We put them all on. We created a fortune telling booth. And we just put out a jar
Of
and we
course
just
you
started
did.
reading fortunes. Now, I actually looked these things up so I could actually seem like I knew what I was doing. I also used a little showmanship to have more fun. Two young kids walked up and I said, "Oh, there's somebody, oh my gosh, there's somebody with a J or an R that's really causing all kinds of stuff in your life." Now, I looked up, that's like
The
those
most
two
common.
most too common. I took the most too common and I ran with it, right? And but I also threw in things like where they said, "Let me see, let me take a look at your palm," and they put out their hand, and I said, "Oh no, I don't want to see the future yet. Give me your other one." So I was uncannily correct. It's kind of easy to do like cold reading with people. It's like you look like the kind of person that has a lot of friends, but not really any really not so many deep true friends. Those you hold close to you. It's like
Right.
you
Everybody
have
in the world.
yeah, you have difficulty making these really hard decisions. Yeah, there's ways you to phrase stuff where
Yeah.
people think it is, and I used to love to watch the charlatan shows where
Yeah. Yeah.
they would either debunk these people or show that, and uh, but then too much stuff just happens to you, and you go, okay, there's something to it. I just don't know what it
Well, that's
is.
why you're so believable, I think, because you don't just go, yes, I'm psychic. I have this ability. You're like, I used to like try to debunk this stuff when I was younger and I
Yeah.
can't explain it. And I don't know, it could just be luck or it could be whatever. And that's why I think that's why it's for you is so believable because you just don't throw it out there like it's, you know,
Well, I used to be amazed at people that would, because for a while there was channelers everywhere, right?
yeah,
And all these people channeled these mystic, ancient, wise spirits. They never channeled like a plumber named Vinny, you
right.
know? And so why is it only those people are channeling?
Well,
How
you
come
know
the
what? Oddly enough, so I just finished recording an episode with this guy who, in the title of it is I received thoughts that were not mine. And it was not like, some Egyptian king or whatever. It was, he received thoughts from, I asked him, I said, who do you think this was? Because there were two stories that he told and they were both women, but different women. And he said, I think there's somebody local. And it was just random thoughts like, I'm worried about my dad because of some situation, or I want to break up with my boyfriend. And he said, not, he didn't know who they were, but he thought his instinct was it was somebody local, not like, somebody from India, not somebody from a past life or,
yeah,
dead. So there you go.
that's so funny. Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Thank you so much for sharing your story today, Ray, and much appreciated. And of course,
Always a pleasure.
let us know if you have any other stories that come out. So,
Will do. Will do. Thanks for having me. It's been a great time here.
thanks for joining this episode of Something Weird Happened Here. If you have a twisted tale that you witnessed, experienced, or heard from a reliable source, go to bethanecampbell.com/somethingweird to learn more and submit your story. If your tale is twisted enough, we'll share it on air during one of our episodes and might even invite you to be a guest on the show. And we're not picky. Your Something Weird Happened Here could be paranormal, psychic, UFOs, near-death experiences, dreams, parallel dimensions, Bigfoot, chupacabra, or any other weird and unexplained phenomena. We don't discriminate. If you're into paranormal mysteries that are scary, fun, and realistic, pick up a copy of my latest book, The R.I.P. Files: Case of the Demon Drums, the first in a series inspired by real cases that I, Beth Ann Campbell, worked on when I was a ghost hunter for nearly a decade. Case of the Demon Drums is available on Amazon and most online bookstores. And finally, we would so appreciate it if you would rate and review us on your favorite streaming platform and/or on YouTube. Thanks again, and remember, stay skeptical, but don't run towards the noise.